So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really great to see so many names and charities popping up in the chat. As I sort of said, please do introduce yourselves, say who you are, where you're from, feel free to share your LinkedIn. You know, this is a very holistic and safe community, and sometimes it's really nice just to get to know other people who are doing the same type of work you're doing and might be able to help you in the future. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Veronica Bamford-Dean and I'm co-founder and managing director of Work for Good. Through our online platform, we can help you and your charity raise sustainable income from business sales. And as you may or may not know, but sales fundraising is a very flexible and sustainable way for businesses to support their favourite charities, because every time they make a sale, they raise a donation. I'm really thrilled today and feeling very privileged to be joined by the lovely Antonella Vinciguerra, who is Senior Fundraising Officer at Mind, who I will be chatting to very shortly. And also, I want to introduce you, or maybe some of you might have met her already, to the lovely Lauren, who is our Charity Engagement Manager here at Work for Good. She'll be collating any questions that you have for myself or Antonella. If you do have questions, please put them in the Q&A rather than the chat, just so we don't lose them. As mentioned already, we are going to be recording today's session. It's already recording at the moment. We will be sending it out shortly afterwards, along with a copy of the new insights that I am just going to share with you. So let me find, this is good timing, isn't it? Just going to try and find how I can share my screen with you, which has now disappeared, which is great timing. Bear with me one sec. Lauren, it has completely gone. That was good flow. Where are you? Here we are. Okay, cool, got it. Promise you this is not my first rodeo, although I'm sure it sounds like it now. It's been a very busy week. Right, cool. So, before we start chatting to the lovely Antonella, who is going to talk all about her experiences of sales fundraising, I want to start by sharing some of our latest data and insights with you on business supporters. Some of you will remember that in October last year, amidst the doom and gloom of the cost of living crisis, and I know it's not over yet, but that was right in the heart of it, we launched our Generosity of Business report. This contained lots of positive insights into the future of sales fundraising from our survey of small businesses. Antonella, you've just raised your hand. Are you okay?
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Sorry.
No worries. Feel free to join in. We'll chat to you in a bit.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry at all. So this report contained lots of very positive insights into the future of sales fundraising from a survey that we conducted in September with lots of small businesses. It showed us that despite being told that the recession was on its way, businesses were still planning on fundraising for charities during Christmas and into 2023. So now that we're in March, we thought we'd better take a little look back into some of these insights and also what we learned from 2022. And we have some good news for you. So we found that in 2022, despite all the economic challenges, there was a massive 54% increase in donations, which means we saw that there was a big increase in businesses fundraising for charity through their sales. Now, you might ask why the growth of this type of business giving. When we asked businesses, how does sales fundraising help your business? The vast majority told us that being able to show their values was the main benefit of supporting good causes through sales fundraising. And as you may know, showing purpose and demonstrating value is crucial to a business, showing their customers and their consumers exactly what they believe in. Now, there is a wealth of evidence to say that SMEs demonstrate they're using their work for good. And it also creates loyalty and an affinity with their clients or customers. If consumers know that a company they're buying from, whether it's service-based or product-based, is doing something good and positive, they are more likely to champion this brand and part with their hard-earned money. In fact, a global survey called The Strength of Purpose found that 83% of consumers said companies should only earn a profit if they also deliver a positive impact. Now, we know the tide is turning and the expectation for businesses to do a lot better for their customers, society, and the planet is increasing. There is, however, nothing wrong, and this is really important, with businesses being profitable. And really, the ideal situation is that purpose and profit are aligned. And sales fundraising is an excellent way for businesses to show that they care about more than just profit. Because whilst also helping to raise significant, and may I add, free brand awareness for charities they love, they're also going to be raising money for you too. Secondly, but crucially, sales fundraising is a very flexible and sustainable way for businesses of any size to support charities in ways that work for them. And this is because the amount they donate is directly linked to what they sell. As Hannah Martin here said, and she owns Talented Ladies Club, which is a membership club of lots of different business women. She says that I find that by donating a percentage of my services, I can ensure that any donations don't damage my cash flow. And as we all know, if you don't have cash flow, you don't have a business. Sales fundraising is also a much quicker way to implement, and businesses can therefore make last-minute decisions to raise funds very quickly. So I don't know how many of you hear from perhaps women empowerment charities, perhaps, but we have seen a lot of last-minute campaigns for International Women's Day over the last couple of days and from the beginning of the month, actually. Another recent example of this is from the lovely Denise Girdle, who is the founder of Ottoman Hands, who 2 days after the Turkey and Syria earthquake raised just over £3,000 for the British Red Cross through her jewellery sales, and she did this in just 12 hours. Sales fundraising was an efficient way for her business to respond to the emergency, and she swiftly raised these funds for the appeal, and most importantly, enabled the charity, so the British Red Cross, to receive these donations quickly and efficiently. So what did this growth in sales fundraising actually look like in 2022? Well, last year, 884 businesses raised over £1 million for charities through 2,293 fundraising campaigns, which is absolutely brilliant. And just a note on the number of fundraising campaigns as well. For the vast majority of businesses, sales fundraising is not just a one-off, and on average, we see businesses taking part in 2.5, I know that's a bit of a funny term, but from a data perspective, 2.5 campaigns every year. Equally, some other businesses will donate on a month-by-month basis. 66% of businesses supported one charity, showing loyalty and commitment to supporting a cause that really aligns with their values. And the other 34% changed it up regularly. But we also see that these types of businesses end up coming back around to the first charity that they ever supported. So we see this in a very cyclical way. On average, businesses donated £94 a month, which is actually £44 more than the average lifetime value of an individual donor, according to a recent report by Wood for Trees. And as you may or may not know, there are 3.5 million sole traders in the UK, so that's individuals who run and own businesses, and they're donating £44 more through their business than as an individual. Now, here is the wow moment for you, looking at those quick facts. And if anyone can do some quick maths, you're going to get this bang on. But could you put into the chat, put some guesses in there, what you think the average amount donated per business was in 2022? Do you think it was, oh, we've got £1,000, £1,200, £9.40, 1,118, 500, 7,000. Oh, good. We've got some great guesses here. A real mixture, 750. That's a good guess. 500. Nice. So, India Marshall, I think you have definitely seen our slides already, or perhaps you've read an email we've already sent you, but you are almost there. So, the average donation was £1,129 per business. Of course, there were some businesses that raised much more than this, such as the lovely Crimpet, who launched just last February, and they immediately started to donate 10p from the sale of their toasty gadgets. They've now raised over £17,000 through sales fundraising for the Trussell Trust, and they've done that in just 1 year, which is phenomenal. There are also lots of other businesses, I was just mentioning sole traders there, sole traders and micro businesses that were raising perhaps slightly less, but they tended to give a little every month. So very much a regular donor. An example of this is Button and Squirt, who donate their funds to whale and dolphin conservation by selling some lovely colouring books, and they raised just over £600 in 2022. And fortunately for all of you guys, this isn't looking like it's slowing down. We're only 2 months into 2023 and businesses are donating at a similar rate as this time last year. And I believe coming in today, I was told that we had 20 businesses sign up to the platform in just the last 2 days. So that is brilliant. And we will keep updating you with all these facts and figures. So going back to our question right at the beginning, are businesses continuing to raise funds? Yes, they are, and they're going to be doing it through their sales. So now for some other data that I think might help. So the most popular days, feel free to take some screenshots of this. We'll also send you the insight report afterwards. But the most popular days that businesses pay in their donations are at the beginning of the week, from Monday to Wednesday. So do think about this in terms of when you're stewarding your supporters. We also see a lot of businesses posting on social media after they have paid in their donations. So do make sure you're also letting your marketing and comms teams know to keep an eye out, because there's nothing more exciting for a small business who's worked really hard and donated a small portion of their revenue to charity to be thanked and recognised, even if it is just the lovely little red heart that they're given. Antonella, your business loves Mondays. That's brilliant. Yes, I think we see a lot of love for you on a Monday too. Another bit of information I think that might be helpful for you. The most popular charity sectors in 2022 were children and youth charities, followed by environmental charities. Now, we did see a little bit of change depending on the cultural and social influences throughout the year. As we all know, when Russia invaded Ukraine, we did see a spike in donations for charities supporting the war effort, or when we were celebrating International Women's Day, for example. Similarly, over the winter months, supporting food poverty. However, what we do know is businesses are relatively consistent, and as mentioned before, their loyalty does stand. So even if they're doing one-off smaller campaigns, perhaps for an awareness day or an appeal that's come through, they are likely to return to their usual sort of preferred charities. So don't be alarmed when an appeal comes in place. Do not take your foot off the gas. Best not get my phrases muddled up. Work for good. No, I do this all the time. I see Lauren laughing. Danny will be rolling his eyes. There are a broad range of businesses that support charities as well, but these ones are currently the most philanthropic business sectors, and that is health and beauty, arts and design, and that's sort of crafts and makers as well, real estate and construction, leisure and sport, marketing, advertising and PR, and clothing, apparel and accessories. Sometimes businesses aren't quite sure about how much they're able to donate, but the most common amount we saw being used through 2022 was 10% of product or service sales. This will be a very useful figure for you guys to note down, which you can use in your communications when marketing to potential business supporters. So whether that's through social media ads or through direct mail outs, and of course, when you're stewarding your current business supporters. Now, I know this is just a little snapshot of insights. We've got lots of information at Work for Good. Just get in touch if you have any other questions, but hopefully it will give you a bit of a deeper understanding of businesses and how they like to give. What we do know is the sales fundraising opportunity is huge. There are 5.6 million small and medium-sized businesses in the UK, and we know also that you guys are crying out for diversity, disruption, and efficient income sources. So this is a great way to find them. And embracing sales fundraising and SMEs as a very key support group is one way to do that. And this is what the lovely team at Mind have been doing. And Antonella, I'm going to bring you in now to the chat because everyone wants to hear from you. Now, Antonella has been a member with Work for Good for just over a year. She was also named as the Sales Fundraising Charity Champion of the Year. She has been a huge influence with creating this income stream for Mind, and it was important for us to recognise her this year. So if you have any questions throughout, as I said, please pop them in the Q&A box, and we will leave some time at the end to go through. So I'm going to get rid of these slides and put the lovely Antonella up in front of us. Antonella, hi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm so happy to be here and hopefully to give some useful tips and advice to everyone that is here today.
Oh, well, thank you very much. We're privileged to have your time and we will use it wisely. Before we start, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? And also, although we are sure most people know what Mind does, can you just say a little bit of a summary of what Mind does and how you support?
Yeah, of course. So I'm working as Senior Fundraising Officer in the community fundraising team at Mind. And one of the areas that I lead is a small and medium businesses fundraising in England, which also includes sales fundraising from SMEs and sole traders. And this is an area I'm very passionate about. I'm working on this area with my colleague Rebecca, who is not here today. And about the other question related to Mind. So for who doesn't know Mind, Mind is a mental health charity. We provide advice and support to empower anyone experiencing a mental health problem through our info line, legal line, and also the local Mind services. We also campaign to improve services, raise awareness, and also we offer services and some resources to companies to help them with their workplace well-being.
Thank you. And Antonella, in some of the conversations that we've had with you and your team sort of over the last couple of years, you've told us that previously you've had to turn away low-level income from business supporters. Can you talk a bit more about the barriers that you faced there?
Yeah, of course. So it all started actually during the pandemic because unfortunately many people in our team went on furlough, so we had less capacity in the team. But at the same time, we realized that this area, this specific income stream was very time consuming for our team. Also time consuming in terms of the amount of income that this area was bringing in, and again in terms of staff's time. So for example, what was most time consuming was to manage the process itself internally, because we had often to check some bits related to the agreement, so to the CPA itself, with our legal and compliance team to make sure that everything was compliant, which also meant that often our businesses had to wait a bit longer before they were able to sign the agreement, and also before they were able to start to fundraise for Mind, which also meant that we weren't delivering the best stewardship journey to them. And yeah, this wasn't what we wanted. So in a way, this difficult decision that we made at the time helped us to understand quite a few things related how to how to improve the process and how to manage this area better.
And then what sort of, I suppose with that having to sort of manage the yeses and the nos and the value that it was adding to Mind, and quite honestly the return of investment in terms of your time with everything else that's with resource of Mind staff as well. What was the light bulb moment when you first sort of really realised the potential, perhaps the pivotal moment when you realised the potential value of sales fundraising as an income stream for Mind? And can you tell us how you've implemented sales fundraising within your charity?
Yeah, so actually between the multiple lockdowns that we had, we decided to analyze the areas of the specific income stream and see how much we were losing in terms of income. And we also did some forecasts, to see how much we expected to have in the next financial years. So we actually understood that we were losing a good opportunity in terms of income here. And my colleague, after speaking to other people working in the charity sector, she came across Work for Good, and then had a meeting with yourself and also Lauren, just to have more information about the process, both from the charity side and also for the business side, because we were all very keen to make it, to deliver the best stewardship journey to companies, but also to make sure that we had an efficient process for us internally. And so we then decided to test working with you, with Work for Good, and it was a very positive test, because by implementing Work for Good, we enabled small businesses to support us through sales fundraising, which was something that we weren't able to do at the time. And also it meant that we were able to use staff's time in a more efficient way, because our team can focus on some areas that are more profitable in terms of income. So yeah.
And did you find that you had sort of easy internal buy-in? So when you could demonstrate that you were losing X amount in potential income, and risking that reputation with supporters you're turning away, was that enough evidence for your business case to say, look, we really need to be kind of considering sales fundraising as a decent income stream? Or did you have any challenges there? Because I expect people listening might be interested in that, if any of them are going through that at the moment. And how did you overcome any of those?
Well, I guess that one of the challenges was related to the due diligence that we do for companies who decide to support us. I guess that many charities have like an ethical policy that they need to follow to make sure that companies and individuals that support them align with their values and policies. So we decided to overcome this challenge related to the fact that we can't get basically all the data. We can see a dashboard of all the companies that support us, but in terms of data sharing and GDPR, we can't have like the data in. So we have decided to create a specific due diligence process, which we do regularly. And to be honest, it's working really well because it's ensuring that our charity don't have risk. It's not risking in that sense, so that we are not working with charities that don't align with our values. So I think this was maybe the only challenge that we faced. Yeah.
Sure, thank you. And are there any sales fundraising campaigns or businesses that you've sort of personally really loved watching grow, or any campaigns you've seen and be like, oh yeah, that's really great, and you've been very proud to be part of that?
Yes. So one company that I really loved working with is a small business, actually quite small. They sell products to help people to sleep better. Like, for example, sleep masks. It's called Drowsy Sleep. And the founders created this company just after they had a kind of burnout from work. They struggled with insomnia, and then they came up with the idea of creating this company. So they decided to support mine because obviously they felt like quite close with our mission. And they have been supporting mine for 2 years now. They decided to support us during the Mental Health Awareness Week. I mean, they supported us for about 7 months, and they also covered the Mental Health Awareness Week. It was a very a success for us because not only they were able to raise quite a lot for us, about 13K,
Brilliant.
just by donating £1 from the sales of each sleep mask, which is like fab.
Yeah.
But also because I think that the company's work is close to our mission. And also they fed back to us that they loved supporting us with their business, through their business, because they said that it helped them to almost feel part of our team, because, you know, they obviously supported us through their work. So yeah, it was really great to hear that.
Oh, that's a brilliant story, and I know exactly. I can picture their products in my head at the moment. They're brilliant, so people should check them out, particularly if you suffer from insomnia. And could you share your top 3 tips for stewarding businesses and making sales fundraising successful, please?
Yes. So, well, one of the the first one is to create internally in your charity an efficient process to manage this area that is efficient both internally for the team and also for the companies. I think that's really important. And I know that this might seem like maybe a very basic advice, but at the same time, many companies don't expect that this area, this type of fundraising works in a different way from other areas of fundraising. So this is why I'm saying that I think is important. And maybe, for example, you could do that by adding some information on your charity's website, just to give them some guidelines about how to fundraise for your charities through sales. For example, some companies have an FAQs area, so maybe it could be an idea just to add something there. And the second tip is about regularly checking in with them, especially if they support you for, I don't know, a longer amount of time. For example, let's say 6 months. I think it's really important to check in with them and to see that everything is going well and that everything is compliant as well. And also the third tip, I think, is really important to share with them the impact of their fundraising, which obviously is quite related, very close to thanking them in the best way. I think that's a way to make them feel rewarded.
Yeah, brilliant tips. And I think with the thanking piece, I know some of the fundraisers that we work with, they tend to thank sort of all of their smaller business supporters or their sales fundraising supporters every quarter, and they send out sort of one email that has some, exactly as you say, some impact information, because that's really important. Businesses want to know what they're helping. They know that each pound isn't going to go directly to something and it is unrestricted, but they need to know what the impact is to continue to support them. Do you email or sort of thank donors on an individual basis, or do you tend to do them in groups, or does it just depend on that relationship with businesses?
Well, we email per groups or per areas. So, for example, we have a specific mailing that goes out to businesses, and so where they're like contents personalized to dynamic contents, personalized to the type of fundraising. For example, if they support us as charity of the year, or if they supported us in this way. And also we have like other types of contents for individuals, related to the type of fundraising they do. And that is also important, I would say. But also we have recently created some a specific welcome pack for companies who want to support us, and digital resources really to help them, so that we give them as many information as possible, as many guidelines as we can in that sense. And also, we have resources related to the impact for the thanking phase.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And it just sounds like you treat your sales fundraising supporters as you would do any other supporter. Antonella, thank you. I am going to be quiet now and hand over to Lauren, because I know there are an awful lot of questions. So over to you, Lauren.
We've got lots of questions coming in, which is brilliant. I will try and group together somewhere we've got kind of similar themes. So a few people have asked kind of a bit more around the stewardship that you provide for businesses. I feel like you've hopefully just kind of covered that, but obviously if there's anything else that you feel would be helpful to share on that, Antonella. But equally within that, quite a few people are asking whether those businesses are coming to you organically, or whether you're doing any kind of acquisition or kind of publicly promoting sales fundraising on any of your channels.
No, we're not kind of promoting sales fundraising with our channel. They all come in through our website. So companies register through our website if they're interested to support us. Currently, we are not prospecting. But the corporate team in our charity is prospecting for companies, although this is not including small businesses at the moment. Sorry, I don't know if was that the question? I think that I'm missing.
Yeah, no, that was the question in terms of whether your kind of
okay.
businesses are coming to you, or whether you're kind of doing any outreach.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. A few questions around your due diligence process. So people are kind of asking if you can kind of share any examples of how you kind of streamline that due diligence process, and whether that works from the point of view of businesses coming to you first, and then are you doing your due diligence before you then refer that business across to work for good?
No, we usually do the due diligence after they have registered. I mean, to be honest, we do in both cases, because we filter all the registrations that come in, and we have a specific ethical policy, which we check, and there are like all the steps that we need to follow when we do the due diligence, so it's quite clear, and there are also the levels of risks related to, for example, companies. This is just an example that might sell tobacco, and also according to the size of the company. So when we do the due diligence, we follow the ethical policy. At the same time, we do some research online on Google, just to check if, for example, there is some history, some bad history related to the company, even if it's related to the way they treat their employees, just something that's unethical related to them. And then most of the time we take the decision if we're happy to accept the fundraising or not. But in some cases, we might need to double check that with our team manager, or maybe we also have a specific committee who, in some cases, will just check if they're happy to accept that type of fundraising or not.
Great, thank you. We've got a question that's come in asking which business sectors are more receptive to donating to Mind. Do you see any kind of patterns in terms of the types of businesses that like to support your work?
So I'm not too sure now, thinking. We have had recently quite a few estates, small estates companies. Yeah, but we do have like different types of companies, really. I think that maybe we have some sectors that are more difficult for us to engage with, like, for example, retail and education. So these are the two sectors we find more difficult to get on board, but yeah, more or less like from many sectors, yeah.
Brilliant. We've got a question from Rebecca. She says, Antonella, are you able to tell us how many of your small and medium businesses are utilising the scheme? I think she means Work for Good. And roughly how much is this kind of raising for the charity each year?
Sorry, can you repeat the first part of the question?
Yeah, sure. So Rebecca is asking how many small and medium businesses are fundraising for you through their sales via Work for Good, and roughly how much is this raising for the charity each year?
Yeah, okay. So we have, I think, gosh, I should remember the number. We have about 100, less than 200 companies supporting us, and we have had in total in 1.5 years, because we have been on Work for Good since September 2021. We have had about over 50K of income related to sales fundraising, but we also have pledged donations, so which are pledged, and so there is still a room of uncertainty, and it's about 100K of pledged donations, so which is like very good amount. We're very pleased and overwhelmed by all the businesses that want to support us.
Perfect, thank you. I've got a question for Veronica. So somebody has asked, is the research and the insights based purely on businesses that are already on the Work for Good platform?
So the 2022 insights are, yes, entirely through the data and all the businesses on Work for Good. The Generosity of Business report, the majority of those who responded to the survey do use Work for Good, but actually there were other respondents who don't. But yes, all our data and insights on an annual basis, and anything that we share on the website is coming from what we know, and we've got a solid 4 years of evidence to be able to share.
Great, thank you. And another one for you, Veronica, are there any costs for charities to sign up?
There aren't any costs to sign up. No, it's free to sign up. We do deduct 5% of donations, and that obviously happens at the end when the business has paid and finished their campaign and paid over to you, but that is the only cost.
And then, Antonella, just going back to due diligence, somebody's asked, how much time roughly do you spend carrying out the due diligence on SMEs, just to give them an idea of kind of how much time you're putting into that process?
Okay, so that depends on how many businesses we have to do the due diligence for. So I'm going to answer to you based on each business. So it depends on the type of a business, because, for example, we might have some companies that are like, I don't know, a self-employed person who wants to donate to us sales from their artwork. So like that they sell online. So I think that's in that case, for example, we might just spend like maybe 2-3 minutes, literally. While if the company is a bigger company, and maybe there are also more than one branches of the company, so we might take a bit longer. I would say no more than 10 minutes generally, unless we have a doubt, and then we need to double check with other teams internally.
Great, thank you, that's really helpful. And Ben has asked, what was the sleep mask company called? I feel like you've got a potential customer here.
Yeah, it's called Drowsy Sleep. I'm gonna type in the chat just in case with my accent is difficult to understand. I think this is the name. Yeah, they sell like amazing sleep masks, by the way. So and they're great people. So
very nice. Perfect. Well, I'm conscious of time, so I think we've got time for probably one last question. Veronica, somebody's just asked for clarification around kind of the fees. So they've asked, is the 5% paid from the company donation, or is it invoiced to the charity? So how does that work?
Sure, good question. So it is from the company's donations. The company will pay it to Work for Good. We will then take off the 5%. So we'll aggregate all donations on a monthly basis, and then we will take off that 5% against the monthly aggregated donations, and then pay over to you minus the 5% the following month. So effectively, it would be invoiced, but because we're a digital platform and we're trying to make the process a lot easier for you and your finance teams, we will do the work before we send your donations over to you. But you can see a breakdown of all the fee and also the amount and the net amount and the gross amount in a CSV, which can also be uploaded into your CRM system, so you can make sure you can keep up to date with those.
Thank you. We do have some questions that unfortunately we're probably not going to have time to come to right now, but what we will do is collate all of those, and then we can come back to you with answers to those as soon as we can.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Lauren. And Antonella, thank you so much for all of your time and your wisdom and your advice. I have learned an awful lot from you already, and I've had the pleasure of speaking to you multiple times, and so I'm sure everyone else has. If anyone would like to connect with you on LinkedIn, would that be possible? Are you happy for them to do that?
Yeah, very happy. I can quickly post my LinkedIn profile on here.
Great.
But yeah, thank you so much for you to inviting me here today. And I hope that I was able to answer all the questions that you people had. And if I wasn't, yeah, I guess that maybe you can email Veronica and Lauren, or feel free to message me. So
yes. Of course, we'll share all our details in the chat and over email. Everyone will receive a recording of this, and obviously the slides as well, so you can take them away and you can work out if that works with your fundraising strategy. But yeah, anything else you need from us at Work for Good, please just get in touch. We are a small team, but we're pretty friendly, and we're here to help. That's the whole purpose of what we're doing. And Antonella, again, thank you so much for your time. You are fabulous and a great ambassador for sales fundraising and small businesses, and you have created an enormous impact so far for mine, so well done to you.
Thank you so much, Veronica and Lauren. Thank you.
Thanks everybody, have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.